I'm Fred Wilkinson, Chief Editor of the National Provisioner. Today I'm joined by Steve Ringle. He is Executive Vice President of Business Development for the Certified Angus Beef brand. Steve, thank you for joining me today. Certified Angus Beef products have been enjoying some strong sales. Could you tell us a little bit about that and how Certified Angus Beef product sales compare or how they fit in with the overall beef market today?
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, Fred. It's always a pleasure to talk about high quality beef to whoever wants to listen. And You mentioned the strength that we're seeing in terms of certified Angus beef sales, and what I would share with you is coming through here in the spring, even in light of what you've been seeing out in the industry from beef pricing from a consumer standpoint being pretty high. We actually had the best springtime that we've had as an organization, kind of coming through that. March was an all-time record month for us as an organization. We're probably going to get close to 117 million pounds for that month alone. That's probably, I don't know, about 3-4 million pounds ahead of our last record, which would have been several years ago that we set that. And We've continued that. So best March that we've ever had, best month for that particular month. That we roll into April. We had the best April that we've ever had, and followed that right back up with May coming in here as the best May that we've had as well. So a lot of good strength here over the last 3 months. I would tell you that we are down, though, for our fiscal year. So our fiscal year runs October is when it begins. And we're down slightly. So we're down about 0.5% for the year. Obviously, I was reading an article in Meeting Place the other day. Sounds like overall beef in terms of pounds is actually showing some growth, which is awesome to see. What I would point you to, Fred, is the irony of it all, and that is from a certified Angus beef prime standpoint. Again, this is kind of next level up, right, in terms of quality. We are outpacing what I read in that Meeting Place article in terms of the amount of pounds from a beef perspective. We're up about 7.5% on certified Angus beef prime fiscal year to date, which is outpacing that. So beef demand is definitely real, and we're experiencing that, and blessed to experience that, quite honestly, with all the market dynamics that are out there right now.
Well, given the current marketplace situation, what unique value proposition is Certified Angus Beef offering beef consumers?
Yeah, I would tell you that we've been at this for a while now. This will be our 47th year of selling branded beef out in the industry. And so we've got a track record, I believe, from the standpoint of the brand being very well known and consumers having a very high level of comfort and a high level of trust in the brand. And we know that brands are so important from a consumer standpoint. And the recognition of the Certified Angus Beef brand is extremely high. That works our advantage. I've been with Certified Angus Beef for 24 years, and whenever I started, it felt like we were on this quest to teach everybody all of our specs and to make everybody beef experts from a consumer standpoint. I felt like that was the mission. And what I would tell you is that we quickly learned that probably isn't the mission. I don't think that the consumer necessarily wants to be a meat scientist, much to our chagrin, but they do want to spend their dollars on things that they could trust and things that they know are going to perform. And we fit that bill. And that's where you'll see us talk about, if it's not certified, it's not the best. Look for this logo. There's a reason why we say that from a consumer standpoint. It's simple, it works, And it gives the consumer then that pathway to know that, hey, if you're looking to spend your hard-earned dollars on, the backyard grill for this weekend or a celebration that you're having, look for this logo and you're not going to be disappointed.
What role has food service been playing in the current strong sales for certified Angus beef products?
Yeah, I love food service for a number of different reasons. As I look week to week, month to month, day to day, in terms of our sales, I always describe our food service business as being extremely steady. You don't have these, big peaks and valleys like we do have within our retail business, like we have in our international business. Food service on any given week just tends to march right along with a lot of strength. I don't know if you've been out to restaurants here lately. I know I sure have, and these restaurants are busy. And those are high-end restaurants. Those are bar and grills. So the foot traffic seems to be, again, conventional wisdom right now would tell you that that shouldn't be the case. But we're seeing that. We are seeing very strong year over year from a food service standpoint. And it's in areas, Fred, that you wouldn't think. I think if we were to do a poll out from a general industry standpoint, you might think that we're up from a ground beef standpoint. A lot of burgers being sold at food service. Maybe that's a bit of an entry level price point, right? And that makes a lot of sense. We're actually down slightly on the ground beef side year over year. Where we're up, though, is in middle meats, with your steak items. So again, you got a little bit of this inconsistency with what you see from a lot of the messaging that's out there versus what our reality is. And I think that, again, goes right back to, man, beef. The beef continues to be the celebration protein. That's what we keep talking about. And if something exciting happens in your life, you tend to want to say, hey, let's go out and grab a great steak. And we're seeing that continue. Now, I'm not naive to the fact that there aren't a lot of those pressures. So what do I mean by that? There are a lot of pressures to trade down in quality. These restaurant operators, it's a tough business to be profitable in food service, to run a restaurant. Same thing with our food service distributors that are supplying these restaurants. So what we have really started to hone in on over the last couple of years is this whole thought process behind don't downgrade in quality. There are so many other things that should be in consideration before you even think about moving away from a premium program like Certified Angus Beef and going to maybe a commodity program. You can do things like adjust your menu price up. Again, the consumer right now is still voting with their dollars and being very willing to spend at food service. We're seeing that. So don't be afraid to raise menu prices. Don't be afraid to look at alternative cuts. There's a lot of wonderful cuts that are out there that folks are looking for some variety. So bring some of those items in. Maybe utilize that within Certified Angus Beef. Maybe look at your portion sizes. It is, back when, for sure, when I was growing up, it was like the bigger the steak, the better, and we are seeing, a bit of that start to come down a little bit. And though all of those things are very appropriate from a restaurant operator to consider, hey, before I do anything different from a quality standpoint, let's explore some other avenues that still allow me to lead with something that is going to perform, because we know the number one reason why people buy beef is because it tastes great. So don't take that away from them. Keep that. And, it's not the easiest thing to have that discipline to do it. But the fact that we're up from a middle meat standpoint year over year, I think is a testament to the restaurant operators that also have that focus on quality, and the consumers responding.
Steve, I just had one more question for you. Kind of looking to the future, what further end product quality improvements are CAB's producers developing through their beef production practices?
Yep. Yeah. We were created to have pull through demand. Whenever we started, it was, I don't know how you had the foresight to do what the folks did whenever they were developing this brand. But what they did know is that, man, if we created something that folks wanted more of, the financial signals would follow that. And I mentioned earlier that beef demand is still extremely high. Certified Angus beef demand is still extremely high. And the cool part about that is that means that all of our partners are sending that signal. If you're a restaurant operator, you're sending it back to your distributor. Hey, I need more of that product. That flows all the way up the chain, right? So they're going back to their suppliers, the packers, and saying, hey, we need more high quality product because the demand signal is definitely there. And obviously the packers are outsourcing the product as well. And guess what they're doing? They're looking at their producers. They're looking at the folks that are raising the animals for them, and they're having that same message. So what we're seeing is that, the industry is paying attention to that. You can be rewarded for a focus on high quality Angus genetics, looking for, trying to hit that target of a certified Angus beef carcass. And we're seeing that play out. Whenever this brand was first developed, the Angus breed was not nearly as popular as what it is now. And we're just seeing these herds become more and more Angus influence across the country. And, that's a testament to the producers that are willingly sourcing high quality Angus genetics to use in their herds. These animals are becoming more Angus influence. And as a result, these animals are performing better from a carcass standpoint. So it's pretty cool. To know that, where I sit and what my team really focuses on is kind of that last link in that chain. We're out here trying to train and educate and get people the confidence to go out and sell high quality, higher priced product. But we know that if we're doing a good job on that, then everybody that gets to touch that brand, all the way down the line, including the family farmer and rancher, they get the benefit from that. So we're very grateful that the system works. We're very grateful that those financial signals continue to go back, and ultimately, we're just grateful that we've got a great production system and men and women that are answering the call to make these animals better and give them a shot to meet the certified Angus beef criteria.
Well, Steve, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks, Fred. I appreciate the time.